and welcome to The Nest. This is Robinznest Knits, and I'm your host, Robin. Welcome today. It is February 2nd, 2026. It is early afternoon, and I'm coming to you from southwest Idaho, where we have escaped the cruel winter. We've had probably the mildest winter on record. 50 degrees, no snow, no rain. That's probably going to be a problem in the future, but we've been enjoying it. And as I watch and hear all the weather reports about all what you're all enduring in the east and the south, I'm very thankful to live here right now. But anyway, welcome. I'm coming to you today with some things I'm excited to share with you about. But first, I'll start with what I'm drinking in my cute little Mickey and Minnie Valentine's cup. I'm a Disney girl. I'm not sure if I've told you that before, but I love Disneyland. I love Disneyland better than Disney World. I'm a purist when it comes to Disney. Walt Disney never set foot in Disney World. He passed away before he got there, but he actually lived in the apartment above the fire station in Disneyland. And so I just have a lot of admiration and respect for Mr. Disney. I read a biography about him a few years ago, and he reminds me so much of my dad. Just so creative and inventive, and had many, many reasons to give up along the way, but he never did. He just kept plugging away. Anyhow, so I have my Disney cup. I'm drinking a latte today. Just coffee and milk. And then I always add a little sprinkle. I have a little shaker of little tiny bit of brown sugar, which I probably shouldn't be having because I'm supposed to be, for health reasons, following a Mediterranean diet. And I know that dairy and sugar is not on the Mediterranean diet, but I figure if I have my one latte a day, it's not a big deal, and it's working for me otherwise. So anyway, grab a warm drink wherever you are, grab a project, and let's chat. So today I'll start with what am I wearing? Well, let's see if you can get a good look at this. You can probably tell what it is. I knit this in 2018 for the Winter Olympics. I love the Olympics. My husband and I are big, big fans. And we can hardly wait because the Winter Olympics start this Friday. And they're coming to us from Italy, which is even more special for us. But in 2018, I knit this cowl. It's called the Winter Games 2018 cowl, and it's by Tanis Gray. And so you can see it has USA, it has some stripes, and then it has some sheep down there, if you can see that. So I made this. My husband, several years ago, went on a work and witness trip through our church to Cusco, Peru. And I stayed home and took care of everything at home, and I said, just bring me back some yarn. I know they make great yarn there. Just bring me back some yarn. So he brought me back huge, huge spools of a red and a white and a blue yarn, which was so sweet of him to do. But I'm like, oh, wow, that's a lot of red, white, and blue yarn. So I used it to make this cowl, which I really, really love. And still had quite a bit left. So I rolled off some for me to keep, and then I donated the rest of it. But anyway, I am going to wear this cowl all week, the next couple weeks, to commemorate the 2026 Winter Games that are going to be starting. This is a free pattern, by the way. It's on Ravelry, and it's an easy knit, and it's fun. And if you want to knit something for while you're watching the Olympics this year, I recommend this. It's really a lot of fun. Okay, and off my needles. I don't have a lot off my needles. I've had a very, very busy January, and The only thing I have off my needles is a pair of socks. And I knit these. I joined Mandy's Making's 26 socks in 26 knit along. And the idea is you knit one sock a month. Is that right? 26. No, that's not right. You knit 26 socks, not pairs of socks, but 26 socks. So 13 pairs of socks is the goal. So you have to use her yarn for at least 50% of the project. But I had this yarn stashed. It's her yarn. And this is in the colorway Sleigh Ride. And I just thought it was so pretty. So I did just a plain vanilla sock. And I did a cuff, and then I did a simple 2-row repeat all the way down. Then I did the cuffs and the toes in the green. And I really like how they turned out. I think they're so cute. And I love that yarn. So that was a very fun knit. So I got 2 socks done out of the 26 in 26. So that was my, and I used 9-inch circular needles in the 1.5 size, 1.5. I think that's 2.25 millimeters. Anyway, really like those. So I need to cast on a new pair. I have some yarn picked out already for my next pair, but I haven't cast those on yet. So with my whips, I've kind of, if you remember last year, I kind of did a work down on my whips, and I got them down to a pretty manageable level. And so right now, I am trying to stay at 3 whips that I'm actively working on at a time. To me, that's manageable. So I have a more complicated project, bigger. I have a simpler project, and then I have a sock going on. So right now for my whips, I am working on Helen Stewart's button box throw. And what a fun pattern this is. And I don't know if I can stretch it out enough. This knits up in a square. So you start in the center and you just go around and around making a square. And I can't stretch it out. My needles aren't long enough to pull this whole thing out. But you can get a pretty good idea. And I am using Granite State Yarns Advent Winter Whispers, I believe it was called. And I just thought that was such a pretty colorway. It's all blues and pinks and purples. Kind of looks like a baby blanket at this point. It's very, very, you just hold your yarn singly, so it's not thick or squishy. It's a real lightweight blanket, which I think is going to be just lovely sitting in the recliner or something like that. It's a very simple repeat pattern. You can make it as big or as small as you want. I'm going to go ahead and use, so what I'm doing is, I think the pattern calls for 10-gram minis, and these came in 20-gram minis. So what I'm doing is just knitting all of this down to 5 grams, and then, so I'm doing 15 grams per section, and then I'm keeping 5 grams and putting that in my, I have another blanket going that I'm going to use them for. And so that's my plan. But this is just a great knit, and it's nice just to work on in the evenings watching TV. It's very intuitive, so it's easy to follow the pattern. I think they're on a size 6 needle. I have 2 needles that aren't matching here, Knit Picks needles, but that works. Okay, so that's whip number 1. Whip number 2 is my bigger project, and I have this in my Snowflowers bag. This was my January bag that I was selling in Robinznest Knits Etsy shop. I will link that down below. I do have some of these left. Well, I actually don't have bags left, but I do have fabric left. I can make more bags. So if you place an order, I can make a bag. I particularly love this sweater size bag. I do a double handle, a drawstring closure. I attach a key chain fob on the side to hold stitch markers and progress keepers and things. You can also clip this to your purse or to another bag. It does have a canvas bottom, which I really like. And I do make these in a sock size. This is a sweater size, and then I also do a blanket size, which is quite large and will hold a whole entire advent and project very well. So anyway, what I am holding in this bag is my Ooey Gooey sweater. And I'm so excited. It is coming along. So I am actually working on the ribbing on the bottom. I have a couple more inches to go of that. So I don't know if you know or not, but I am hosting an Ooey Gooey knit along on my Etsy page, Robinznest Knits, and it's for anybody who wants to knit any of the Ooey Gooey patterns. And there's a couple of us doing the sweaters, several are doing socks, there's a cowl, and I think there's mittens too. And so we're just kind of encouraging it. It's a very, very loosely run knit along. We're just encouraging each other to keep going, which has helped me a ton. So I am using, let's see, this yarn is North Bay Fiber Elemental Sport. This is the Jiggin colorway, which is this purple. I really, really like this yarn, and it's kind of cool. It tells about what sheep this yarn has come from. So this is sourced and spun and hand dyed in the USA. It's sourced out of Wyoming, so that's where the sheep came from. It is spun in Pennsylvania, and it's dyed in Michigan. And this came from a Cormo breed sheep, which is a superfine Saxon Merino, Lincoln, and Australian Merino sheep. And their lustrous long staple fleece creates a yarn with beautiful stitch definition and next to skin softness. I really like it. It's very what I call spongy. I feel like this is going to wear like a big sweatshirt. I think it's going to be super comfy. And then the yarn I'm using in the yoke is the from Spin Cycle Yarns, and I have not used this before either. Spin Cycle Yarns, and this is Dear Diary, the colorway, and it's really interesting. It's mostly this pink, but each skein had just a little bit of this teal color, which kind of popped out in a really interesting way. See, this one has. So I'll be doing this design again on the bottoms of the sleeves, and so I'm hoping that blue will come out in that. But anyway, it is a great pattern, very well written, very, very easy to follow and understand. She does this really unique thing that I have not seen in a pattern before. When you split for the sleeves, if you are needing more fabric in the front, if you have a bigger bust, then you put more stitches in the front than you do in the back, which makes perfect sense to me. So anyhow, that is the Ooey Gooey sweater, and I'm really pleased with that. I'm enjoying that knit very much. So I'll be finishing the ribbing, and then I'll be going on to the sleeves, which is never a lot of fun. But these might be more fun because they have the little design in there. Okay, and then my last whip on the needles right now. I have this in one of my older Valentine bags I made. And I have joined a make-along that Karina is Crafty is hosting, and it is for the Polka Dot Creek cowl. And I actually have knit this cowl before, and I love it. I wear it a lot. And so for the Valentine cowl, I just went through all my scraps and pulled out pinks and reds and grays. And I'm just going to do my cowl out of scraps. So that's a fun knit too. And oh, I should show you this little stitch marker. This came from Hadley Ray Clay Co. Oh, it's backwards. Let's turn it around. Do it this way. There we go. And we these went with Leap of Faith yarn and Robinznest knits and Hadley Ray Clay Co. Our Valentine collaboration. You've got mail. So I got to have one of those. So that's my third active whip. So I have 3 whips going. I do plan to start another pair of socks, as I said, so I'm not sure. I might have to have 4 active whips. We'll see. Okay, dream knitting. Well, I'm enjoying my Ooey Gooey sweater so much, and I found another sweater. I've really gotten in the mood to knit sweaters, and so I found this one. It is called the Rosy Yoke Blouse. Isn't that pretty? This is by Le Knit. It's on Ravelry, a pay-for pattern. The yarn I would like to use, I have in my stash some Knit Picks gloss, and it's kind of in a denim blue color, kind of like my shirt. And then I want to hold it with some mohair. And then for the roses, I would like to do a light gray, kind of a pearly gray color. Sort of the opposite of this picture, although the blue's a little darker. But anyway, I have that I'm dreaming about. So maybe someday that will be one of my active whips. All right. Let's see what else I want to talk to you about today. Oh, what's in the shop? Well, right now, as of today, I am doing my February bag of the month, and this is that, and this is called Snail Mail. See that little snail? That's what gave me the idea. But all these little forest friends are delivering their Valentines the old-fashioned snail mail way. And I just loved that fabric. And so I did several of these. I did blanket size, sweater size, sock size, which is this, and I did some notion pouches. And I have sold out of everything, but I think I have 3 of these as of right now left in the shop, and 1 notions pouch. And these bags are all coming with a Hadley Ray Clay Co. little progress keeper, and it's a snail, and it's so cute. My sister Susan is the one who is Hadley Ray Clay Co. She makes these. She is so talented. She doesn't know it. She doesn't think she is, but I just love all her work. Oh, I can get in there the right way. So there's that little snail. So every bag, not the notions pouch, but these bags, if you buy one of these, will come with one of these. So if you're interested in that, check out Robinznest Knits at Etsy.com. Okay, I think that is it. Oh, and then I wanted to share an acquisition, which is not a yarn acquisition, but I've been wanting one of these for a while that you wear around your neck and you turn it on. Let's see. There we go. At night to see your knitting. And this has different light settings. I've had it for about a week, and I really like it a lot. So I just thought I would share that with you if that's something you're interested in. It came off of Amazon. It was like $22, I think. I'll link it below so you can check that out if you're interested. But it comes in different colors, and it has been very useful and helpful to me as our TV room where we watch TV is kind of dim, and I have an overhead lamp, but it's hot. It makes me hot and sweat at night, and I don't like that. And it's really bright. It shows a glare on the TV. So this is just a whole lot better for both my husband and I. Okay, so one thing that I wanted to highlight this week and share with you is about my journaling process. When January comes along, that's kind of a real popular thing. I've seen a lot of podcasts and videos about it. I've always, for many years, I kept a bullet journal, which is a notebook that you just kind of keep your calendar in and you draw it in yourself. And I did that for years. And then I stopped and went to a conventional calendar last year. But I found that I really missed having a bullet journal. So I decided that I was going to do it again. So I started in January. I just draw my calendar in. I get to use stickers. I get to use different color markers. Let's see. Here's April. Not too much going on in April yet. But I just love it. I think it's so much fun to just keep my life in a notebook. And what I use it for is just everything. If I find a recipe, I'll jot it down. If I have notes at the doctor, I just jot them down. If I have to-do lists, I just put them in here. And then when this book fills up, I start a new one. So this is my third book that I will have been working on. And I haven't done a whole lot in here yet, just mostly the calendars so far. But I'm already really, really enjoying it. I don't remember where I got this notebook from. It's got the little dots, so it makes it easy to make your lines. And I just had this book, so I don't even know where I got it from. But that's my calendar. Well, then, I've been trying to journal my knitting projects the last couple of years. And I have bought the, I think it's Summerlee Knitting Journal. I bought Twice Sheared Sheep's Knitting Journal. And they're lovely books. But what I didn't care for was that I felt so confined to doing it the way they had it laid out. And I would just kind of panic. They give you so many project pages. Well, what if I have more projects than that? What if I didn't have that many projects and I needed those pages for something else? So I just felt too constrained into that method that they had created, and it just wasn't working for me. So then I was watching Avery Lane Creations. I follow her on Instagram, and she was sharing about these notebooks that she got on Amazon, and they were perfect. So I ordered them, and I put all this on there just blank when you get it. But these were perfect, and they're just notebooks with blank pages. So I'm calling this one my knitting journal, and I'm calling this one Robinznest Knits, Dreams and Plans. So this is my business one that I use for my bags, and this is the one I use for my knitting. So what I wanted to share with you, it's kind of interesting. I was watching a Lovely Yarns podcast this weekend, and she basically is doing the same thing and shared everything that I had written down to share. So I feel kind of funny because it might seem like I'm copying what she did, but I think we just both have come across a really good plan. So I'm not copying her, but I am saying, yes, what you're doing works, and it works well for me. So what I do is I take a page. Now, some people say, well, why don't you just use Ravelry? And I used to, and I have kept pretty good. Well, up to a point in time, I kept pretty good record in there. But I'm just not a computer gal, and I'm so much more a visual, write it down, journal type girl, that this just works so much better for me. So these are my socks that I showed you today, the two stripe socks. And I just write when I start and what yarn I'm using and what my needles are and how many stitches. I cut the label out, the information off of the label. When I'm done, I take some of the yarn. So if I get a hole in my sock, I do have a little bit of yarn left in here. Or if I want to buy it again, I can see what it is. It's got the name right here. And then I wanted a picture of what I was doing. And it took me a while to figure that out because I thought, well, I could just take a picture and print it on my printer and make it little. But that just seemed labor intensive and I knew I wouldn't keep up with it. So I researched a little bit and I found this pocket printer, which works wonderfully. It's Nelco, and it has little tiny pieces of paper in it, and you connect it to your phone. It was super simple to connect, and then you can just print any picture, and it just prints off right away into this size of a little picture. And I think it's super good color quality. I think it picked up my color really, really well. So I can keep a picture of my project in here. So I'm super excited about that. I'll link this below too, so you can kind of get an idea of what it is. I thought the price point was pretty good on it. I felt good about that. So I'm excited, and that's going to just help me keep my information. Then I started a section of acquisitions. And so I have a little box for every time I get new yarn. And I just want to keep track of what I'm purchasing. So for January, I had 3 different purchases, which wasn't too bad, I didn't feel. And then I've created a daily knitting log. And so what I did was I just draw a little calendar, if I can get it in here. And then I put a dot on every day that I knit. And you can see in January, I knit every day in January. And I haven't filled in February yet. It's only the 2nd today. So I'll have to put that dot in. So far, that's what I'm keeping in my knitting journal. There's a lot of pages. These were not expensive notebooks, and so I'm very, very excited. For my business one, I have my calendar in here for the year, my sales that I made. I have, so my You've Got Mail bags. I put a sample of the fabrics I used. I have my little picture. I have how many I made. I have any notes I want to remember in case I want to make them again. So it's just been a really good way of tracking what I'm doing. And then I have my dates in here for what is coming up next. And it's just keeping me really lined out. So I, so far, am loving this system. I also needed a way to carry around all my supplies. And so I found this little bag on Amazon as well, where I keep my stickers, my pens, my little tape dispenser, my rulers, just all the stuff that I use in my notebooks. My washi tape, keep in there, keep some scissors. It's just perfect. It makes it so easy to just carry around. And so I'll link that down below too. But super excited with the little printer and really pleased with how this is working out, how this system is working out. Let me know below what you do. How do you keep track of your projects? Or do you? Is that important to you? Does that matter to you? I just find that I feel good when I'm organized and what I know what's ahead. I know what I've done. I just like the feeling that it gives me. So, yeah, let me know what you do. Okay, I think that is about all I have today. Be watching Robinznest Knits Etsy shop. Um, Leap of Faith Yarns, Hadley Ray Clayco, and I do have an Easter collaboration coming up that we're excited about. We'll have a, yeah, that's all I'll say for now. But anyway, be watching for that. Um, I do want to share with you a scripture today that I read, and I loved it for spring. At least where we live, it does feel like spring. As I said, it's so warm. And this comes from Isaiah 61:11. And it says, "For as the soil makes the sprout come up, and a garden causes seeds to grow, so the sovereign Lord will make righteousness and praise spring up before all nations." And again, that's Isaiah 61:11. Okay, that's all I have today. It's been fun visiting with you. I hope that you've enjoyed it as well. And follow me on Instagram if you like. I'm Robinznest Knits. My email is robinsnest.knits@gmail.com. And my Etsy shop is robinsnestknits@etsy.com. So until next time, happy knitting.